We'll be back from the break. It's 3 minutes past 8. Still watching Smart Means Business, your daily Kickstarter. I'm Andrew Barigi, driving your business this morning. Well, before we head into our business tips and quotes, the markets on the Zero platform are just left with about 12 minutes to open. Now, for you to be a part of this, it's quite very simple. Just take your mobile phone and start into hash, and you'll be available with a number of options. Will enable you to buy government bonds and securities for just 15,000 Uganda shillings. Now, the markets will be opening at 8:15 a.m. and they'll be running up to 3:15 p.m. East African time. And this is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But despite that, you have all these days to capitalize. And the good news is that this week has no public holiday, so you're going to be having all the full weight for you to trade and make yourself quite some good money. Something which I believe is a very important experience when it comes to your personal growth and development as a trader. Now, Zab says my money, my future, and all the East Africa tells you do something new. It's 2023. Well, right about now, let's get into our business tips and quotes. Remember, it's a new week, and some of these actually can work for the people differently. Some people can decide to use the quote to drive them through the month. Some can really use the quote to drive them through the week, to run, to have that mindset into that very quote as they're running their business throughout. Let's get into this. Yes, now what is started will never get finished. That's according to the last quote there. Of course, the tip, you're familiar with it. We've done it quite a couple of times about that thing of what you've not started will never get finished. The bigger picture in here is that you got to start something. When you speak about starting up anything, it could be an idea. Once you keep on just speaking about it, it will stay in the realm of ideas, and it won't go far. So that means it won't develop by all means. So that is something quite very key, which I believe we need to take it in consideration. Being an entrepreneur, you could be actually already having something that is already moving, that you started already, but during the phase, of course, you have the aspect of decision making. You have to do product development. Take a look at all that, and all that needs action. You shouldn't just talk about something. You gotta implement it at some point in life for it to be effective. Only then, that's when you can actually see progress as a result of that. As much as we think, actually, somebody said that to think and you can't act, that is something which is like a dream. It's a disaster. But then it's also worse to act without thinking, that's sickness. It's like you're a psychopath. I don't know where exactly I got that quote, but I remember coming across it somewhere sometime. Maybe it was a meme for some sort of a thing, but it was very, very helpful and quite developmental in some sort of a way. Because when you really looked at that much more deeper and critically, you realized that it had actually a very important point that should be, which shouldn't be underlooked, by all means. So you gotta think about it, put it into action, because only then you'll really see some sort of tangible results as a result of that. Well, that is it for our business tips and quotes for this morning. And well, before we switch towards our social media trends, of course, just a preamble before we get in there. And this is still related to part of the story that we had in our international news segment about the Twitter and Threads aspect. Something which is causing really quite lots of havoc between the two billionaires. But before even this happened, I remember there was some sort of a little battle, like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg were feuding behind scenes. Now, feuding means that I can be with you here in public and we seem to be friends, but away from, for example, I can be probably I'm presenting with somebody, I'm co-hosting somebody program, and on air I seem like I'm friendly to them, but at the back end I don't even want to know what's really happening in their life. So that is the issue that was happening between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. They were feuding behind the scenes, having all that. And I have a feeling that still motivated Elon Musk to really come up with these tough restriction measures as one of the way. And I believe he's not surprised to see that Mark Zuckerberg is coming up with this idea of, forming up Threads to come and outcompete Twitter in some sort of a sense. Of course, he's richer than Mark Zuckerberg, but one thing I really know and believe, and it's for a fact, is that power belongs to the people. That is a fact. That even Elon Musk, if he can reach to that point whereby he's actually earning that, that big, it's because of the people supporting his hustles, right? Yes, I guess I'm right on that. People supporting his hustles as a result of that. So in that way, he has to understand that actually it's the people that are his bosses in terms of that. Now, once the numbers turn to Mark Zuckerberg, I believe he can easily double his net worth, because once people hate you, and in most cases in the Western ideology, when people hate you, it's not like in our countries in Africa where people can hate you but they still actually buy your stuff, but they hate you in person. But in those countries, when they hate you, they won't even want to purchase anything that is related to you. Of course, Tesla and SpaceX, those are part of his investments. But still, people can choose to ignore them. Stocks will fall. And you know what it means when their stocks fall? Definitely Elon Musk will be running a little bit of bankrupt, and Mark Zuckerberg will get to the top. So that is the issue. Elon Musk has the money, but Mark Zuckerberg seems to have the numbers when it comes to that. Well, now let's get into our social media trends. And of course, they are still in that same direction. Twitter and Threads. I can see here, this is at No Lie with BTC. It says Twitter has about 200 million daily active users. Threads has already added 70 million users in just a little over one day. So you can see that. You can see. If that is No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, Okay. And now still further, you can see this is a Daily Loud. Breaking: Mark Zuckerberg confirms that 70 million people have now signed up for the new social media app trends. For the new social media app Threads. 70 million sign-ups on Threads as this morning, way beyond our expectations. And that, of course, celebrating that victory. Now, on Threads, you can't mute irritating people. You don't follow to prevent them from tuning into your feed. You can't turn off the people this English. It's mentioned a word that is a cussing word there, but you can still see what people are really saying. This is at God Bless Toto. This is at Plateau NFT. Me logging onto Twitter after using Threads. Welcome home, cheater. Wow. Very interesting. I mean, that was very, that's some sort of a deep communication in there. Of course, trying to say that Threads was a cheater at the end of the day. But time will tell about this, by the way. We can't judge. Now, this is at South Pole. Migrating to a new platform is like when you first arrived at high school dance. You have no idea where your friends are, and you have to wade through people having a good time trying to find them before you can join in on the fun. Yeah, actually, that is true. When you join a new platform, in most cases, you first check out, where are people here? How do I do this? I mean, it's like it's a whole new adventure there. Now, this is at Miss Soup Queen. This at Miss Soup Queen. Stop posting your threads on Twitter and your tweets on Threads. Stop, your threads on Twitter. So don't post about the threads up on Twitter. Neither should you post tweets on Threads. Now, this is at Xavier Ed. He said, now that I have to check Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, and Threads, please don't expect a timely text back. I'm tired of humans and I need to recharge. This is Xavier Red. I mean, coming up with all that. I don't know what you think. What would you go for, Threads or Twitter? Which one is much more viable? I've known you got in the application, but I'm going to try it out. Now, Threads took down a post from Libs of TikTok. This is at Seth Delton. Threads took down a post from Libs of TikTok that said non-binary isn't real. If you hate truth and love censorship, Threads is the place for you. If you hate truth and you love censorship, so in other words, there is no truth in Threads. That's what they're trying to say. That's why they're saying if you hate truth, if you don't want to know the truth, you can use Threads. I think that sounded a little bit rude to that aspect, you know. But at the end of the day, we need to find out how this really goes about to see whether Twitter is the real deal or it is the Threads. But anyway, we shall be finding out more. Time will tell, by the way. Time will tell as a result of that. Because if we can't rule out that, we shall get to know what is the real deal. In other words, you know, we need to see the competence of this new application before we can actually give it the whole hype. Like I say, Elon Musk has the money, but Mark Zuckerberg has the numbers at the end of the day. Well, now let's switch our eyes and we take a look at our update. Of course, this time around, we shall be looking at the aspect of road safety and its impact to the business community. I mean, road safety can be quite as a result of very, very many aspects, you know, despite the fact that we talk about the potholes, you know, and all these aspects, but also it matters on how we drive on the road, you know, because this is largely following the recent tragic death of a businessman. You know, that is a Ponye who passed on in a very tragic accident in the western part of Uganda as he was heading to Ruchiga. That's according to what the reports reveal. To actually attend the burial ceremony, he finds a truck on the road. I mean, it's some sort of, it's in a poor condition, and somehow they land into it. But the issue is in here that whenever something, for example, if a truck is down in there and they are working on it, some sorts of repair, it's important to put in reflectors and inform the people that are coming, hey, there is some sort of a breakdown where you're coming, so you better come too slow, you know, other than making it, making the situation seem non-right, and, you know, somebody just lands into that. So many of those aspects we need to understand how to communicate in case of any insurgency. How do you communicate to the people that are coming, that we actually need things sorted right? Well, let's get into this discussion. When I return, I'll be wrapping this up. And of course, we see road safety and economic development addressing the urgent imperative that is of road safety. And of course, we need to understand the impact of the road accidents on Uganda's business community at the same time?
Issues of road safety are beyond Aponye's only accident. Aponye is just one of the victims that have succumbed to the pressures of road accidents or road carnage problems. The issues with road safety are wider than what we see. One, they are about the education of the people. Everyone learns they are driving or riding from wherever they want. We don't have the same riding skills, same driving skills. So actually people don't know where they should park and where they should not park. What signs they should leave, because if there were marks, road marks that were showing that there is an accident ahead, 500 meters from where the truck was, Aponye would not meet that truck. Immediately would meet the road, the signages showing that there is an accident ahead, because you cannot avoid an accident. But the moment you would meet those trucks, those signages would slow down. But they were not there. So the issues of road safety go for education. They go to enforcement. Yeah? That is now the traffic officers themselves. Yeah? With education, the education it is first and foremost the paperwork. That is the education itself. There is the education of the traffic officers themselves. There is the education of the masses. Yeah? The people that use the trucks and everything, the drivers, the passengers and everything, that one goes. Then there is enforcement. Themselves, the police officers doing the right thing, and us, the passengers and drivers, following the instructions. Then we have an issue of engineering, the roads themselves that we are using, the vehicles that we are using. Are they, road friendly? The brakes, the engines, everything. The engineering goes beyond just the roads and the way the bad corners and black spots. It goes beyond that. Then there is the engineering. Then they go ahead. You go ahead and then now have the road users, the third party. Now, is it about you, the driver? Is it about that is now road behavior? Driver's behavior. Is it about me? Am I drunk? Am I okay? Was Aponye in his right mind? Was he annoyed? Was he stressed? What is it? Now it goes to the driver, then it goes to the vehicle, whether it is in good condition, and any other road user, like the one that had left the truck, to see that. So the issues of road safety are bigger and bigger. And we lose over 4,000 people in a year in road accidents. And government is not taking this issue serious. Actually, it is the biggest issue that Uganda has of now. Losing 4,000 people a year is equivalent. Recently, I was looking at the statistics and they were saying it is equivalent to a loss of around 3.4 to 4 trillion shillings. That is how much money is lost in educating these people, in the barriers, in the different things, in the investigations and everything. In the education that these people have attained, somebody has a master's, somebody... Now, Abonye is a billionaire, self-made. How much has the government lost from such a man? The experience and everything. So the money lost every year in road accidents is much more than life. Okay, of course, life is at the epitome of it all. But the money lost every year is what actually the government would be looking at to make sure that it uses only part of that money, even if it uses 500 billion, to make sure that road safety is an issue in Uganda. If all the components, the 4 or 5 components, the engineering, the enforcement, the education, and the rest are catered for, you will see if government puts money in the road safety sector, because out of all of that money that the government is collecting and the 4,000 people that we are using yearly, government is not putting in even 100 billion, not even 200 billion for the road safety. Recently, they were crying to give them around 5 billion. Can you imagine? For road safety. 5 billion is what they were fighting to be put on their budget. So there is no money for sensitization. There's no money to go down to the driving schools and make sure that they are what? They are well, they have a curriculum. They have the same curriculum, they are trained, then they go out and also teach the same thing. There's no money for re-permitting all the people. There is a lot that is lacking at the moment. So they need as much money as possible. It is beyond just engineering and design.
Well, that matters to do with road safety and business, how it's impacting the community at the end of the day. And then they mentioned something that is very profound. 4,000 people will lose every year as a result of road-related accidents. And approximately 3.4 trillion Ugandan shillings that is spent, that is lost, spent in terms of, barrier costs and so many of that. So you can see all that money that should have gone into some productive uses. Of course, we can't avoid death, but we can minimize, the rates at which people die. And these really explain why our countries have quite a low lifespan. All those are put into consideration, the harsh situations and so many more of that. Well, it's 24 minutes past 8. You're still watching Smart Means Business, your daily kick starter. Of course, Amanju Barije here. And before we get into the break, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which will be opening anytime from now. Now, for you to be a part of this, it's quite very simple. Start 92 hash. Actually, they have already opened just right now. They open at 8:15 and they will be running up to 3:15 p.m. East African time, effective up to Friday. This week there is no public holiday, so you have up to Friday to trade. Now it's only the weekends where the markets will not be accessible. 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Get yourself government bond securities, but you can still choose to invest more than that. Accordingly, you can still choose to invest more. But Zab says, bring 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Let's grow together. You don't need any paperwork, just your mobile phone. Whether it's a smartphone, whether it's a button phone, regardless, and life will be made much easier. Now, Zab says, my money, my future, and also Sister Africa says, do something new. And now let's get into the break. When we return, we shall be taking a look at, of course, sports, business, and business in entertainment. Stick around.